Alright, fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with black privilege. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about the next Wolverine movie, or Logan, as they're calling it. Because I guess they don't have the balls to call it Old Man Logan, but it was rumored that they were going to do Old Man Logan for a while, and honestly, it was kind of something that if you know Wolverine, if you're a fan of the comic books, you kind of saw this coming. But to me, unlike most people who's probably watching this, putting up videos of it on YouTube, I'm not impressed, to be honest. Fox kinda, I'm not gonna say they lost my faith or they lost my trust, but because they've been lost that, let's be honest. I mean, you know, I don't give two fucks about their movies anymore. The last great X-Men movie to me was Days of Future Past. Yeah, they changed it up from what the comic book had, but to me, that was a great movie. A lot of people like First Class. I fucking hated First Class besides Magneto and Professor X. So I can't say that that was higher. X-Men Apocalypse was complete and utter dog shit to me. So, like, I rate that movie a little bit lower than, let's say, Wolverine Origins. Because I can honestly say that Wolverine Origins had two things that I did like. You saw Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, not Deadpool, but Wade Wilson. And you had that scene where Wolverine got adamantium shot in him and he broke out of it and started killing people. Thought that was pretty cool. And that helicopter scene, even though it was cheesy as hell. But Logan, you know, I kind of guessed what they're going to do with it. I mean, as soon as I heard Old Man Logan, I was like, oh, dear God, no. Why are they doing that? Because you can't do Old Man Logan. Marvel has most of the damn characters that you need. So what they're going to try to do is bullshit an Old Man Logan storyline and make their own fucked up movie. And from what I've seen in the trailer, it looks like that's going to be the case. And I'm not saying it's to hate on the movie. I'm not doing none of that. But the vibe I'm getting from this, it's a movie trope that they had in the 80s and the 90s when it came to certain movies. And it's the same, let's say, vibe that The Last of Us had. Where, like, hell, you even had it in some Western movies from way back in the day. Where, like, the main character, not the main character, I'm sorry. Let's say a mother with a kid gets killed, and the mother comes across a stranger and they say, oh, take care of my daughter or my son. And then the main character takes that person as their own and they raise it and then either protect the kid or do whatever. That's always been a trope in movies, and that's the same kind of vibe I'm getting with this, except with I can't even call it an X-Men movie because there's no other X-Men in it. So it's like it's doing all of that with like a Wolverine theme on it. And by them not having a well-written story for this movie, and I don't think it's going to be well-written at all, I personally think it's going to be fucked up, honestly. I think they're going to take the route of Deadpool and see, okay, well, let's just make Wolverine a rated R movie and try to get the same amount of money. But I think the problem with that is, by them not having a well-written story, I don't think they're not going to get that. Because at least with Deadpool, you had a huge amount of people who wanted to see that movie. So that's why that made money. That and that marketing campaign. And Ryan Reynolds, you know, promoting it like Robert Downey Jr., you know, promotes being Tony Stark. With this, Hugh Jackman's not doing that for Wolverine. I'm sorry, he's not. And certain people like myself are, let's say, tired of him being Wolverine because they keep putting him, now that we've gotten used to him being Wolverine, they keep putting him in shitty movies. You know? Like his role in X-Men Apocalypse. Fucking garbage. Didn't even have to be in there. Might as well cut him out of the movie. And comic book fans like myself are tired of not seeing Wolverine on screen yet. I mean, let's be honest. We haven't had the comic book Wolverine on screen, period, in any X-Men movie. The old trilogy or the new trilogy. So I honestly think that they're. I'm not gonna say that they're rushing it because they're not rushing it, but they're just. I mean, it's Fox. You know they're gonna fuck it up some kind of way. Let's be honest. They're not gonna come out with that Marvel Civil War movie and just knock shit out of the park and oversell everybody. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, they thought that shit, with X-Men Apocalypse, and that was just utter garbage. I mean, that kind of came and went, and you never heard about it since. So, honestly, I truly think this is gonna be a mediocre movie with Wolverine having badass killing scenes in it. Because so far from the story, I'm getting with the trailer, and I could be wrong. I'm not the end all be all with opinions, but I kind of guessed a lot of Apocalypse and where that was going just based on the trailer from what I was seeing and from knowing the source material. Because when you know the source material, I know where they pick and choose from based on seeing certain characters and seeing how the trailers go. You can tell what the story is going to be about. And this looks like it's going to be one of those movies where, for whatever reason, I'm going to assume it's Essex Corporation, they cloned Wolverine into making X-23. And what they're going to probably do is have Professor Xavier, for whatever reason, rescue her, or he's going to come across if X-23 tries to get her away from Essex Corporation, but he's too old and can't do it, and he can't fight, so he's going to take her to Wolverine so Wolverine can either protect her or take her to some location where something can happen that's going to be at the end of the movie that's going to either save mutant kind or save her from getting killed or something like that. I mean, because that's the way it's going to go. And somewhere towards the end, Professor Xavier is going to die, probably at the hands of Wolverine's son, because I'm assuming he's going to be in the movie. I don't know how they're going to explain it, but I have a feeling he's going to be in the movie, because you saw somebody who had Wolverine-like claws trying to stab Wolverine, and they didn't look like X-23's claws, so they look like Wolverine's son's claws, Dakin's. So I'm assuming he's going to be working for Essex Corp some kind of way, and wants to kill Wolverine or come after the girl, or they may even say, well, he's not Wolverine's son. Maybe he's a male clone, and then they couldn't control him, so that's why they made X-23. Maybe they can control the female clone or something. I'm sure they're going to put their own little spin on it, but it's going to be an old spin on an old movie trope, So I just don't see a lot of storytelling in this movie, because no matter what story they tell, they're not going to carry it over into any of the future X-Men movies. Because I'm assuming after this movie, they're done with X-Men for like a couple years until they can reboot with the younger cast and have a new trilogy of movies. So if they do that, there's no point in writing stuff in this one and then carrying it over. They're just going to squash it and be like, okay, that's the end of Hugh Jackman. Let's bring in somebody else's Wolverine. But I just have a feeling that this is going to be angry Hugh Jackman for like half of the movie. It's going to be like The Last of Us. This movie is going to be like a Wolverine version of The Last of Us, where he's going to look at the girl and be like, I don't like you. The girl's going to be like, I don't like you. And then half the movie they're going to hate each other, and then Professor X is going to die, and then either X-23 is going to probably get kidnapped or whisked away by the Essex Corporation, and Wolverine is going to have that last hurrah where he feels like he has to save this girl or die trying. I mean, I just have a feeling that somebody can come back to this video and cuss me out if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. I really don't. I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm sorry. I want more out of my comic book movies. I want them to actually be fucking comic book movies, not what Fox has been doing with X-Men movies so far. Because besides Professor Xavier and Magneto, honestly, every other character in every other X-Men movie they have done wrong. Everyone. Let's see. Iceman, Storm, Kitty Pryde, Jean, Cyclops. I mean, I can name everybody in every movie. They've done them wrong except Magneto and Professor X. They've pretty much gotten them consistently right. They're just depowered versions of them, but they've been, consistently right throughout all of the movies. And if you read the comic books, they've gotten their characters and tone down right. It fits. Whereas everybody else, they kind of sort of fucked up. Wolverine doesn't kill nowhere near the amount of people his comic book counterpart does. And I'm not saying he has to kill people, but I'm just saying, like, Wolverine in the X-Men movies, until probably this new one, because it's probably going to be rated R. I seen the international version of the trailer, and he stabbed somebody in the top of their head. So they finally actually showing him doing some stuff that he would do in a comic. But in all of the other X-Men movies, Hugh Jackman has reminded me of how Wolverine in the 80s and 90s was in the cartoons, where he never actually stabbed and killed anybody. Like, if you go back and watch any episode of Wolverine fighting, he never stabs and kills any people. They're always robots, fake people, or like he always would cut like an I-beam or something and have something fall on the bad guys, because they wasn't allowed to showing him stabbing anybody. And that's how I feel the movies were. It's like, yeah, he stabbed everybody and stuff, but there was no blood, there was no slicing, there was no cuts on him, nothing. It was bullshit. And this movie, I think they're gonna do it a little bit better. But honestly, like I said before, I think they're gonna jump too far into having it be, oh look, let's try to make the Wolverine's version of Deadpool with all the killing, and it's gonna skimp out on everything else. And honestly, after being this long as Wolverine, I think that would be a disservice to the character, and to Hugh Jackman, and to Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart, because this is probably his last movie. I didn't expect him to be in this one, but he's probably on his way out with this movie too. So I think it's a disservice to all three of those people and characters. I mean, if you're gonna do a badass Wolverine movie, do a badass Wolverine movie. Do it right. But it's Fox. They made Fantastic Four stick or whatever that last bullshit movie was, and they don't give a shit at the end of the day. I think they're in the same boat as WB, where like they're chasing Marvel with their tail in between their legs, and they don't know what they can do, or they don't know how to do it. Maybe it's that too. So, anyways, I guess the end all be all to my commentary here is just I'm just not impressed. I mean, I'm waiting to see more. I want to see more. But at the same time, I have very low hopes for this movie, because I remember the last Wolverine movie they did, The Wolverine. Fucked up Silver Samurai. Fucked up that whole Japanese trip that he went on in the 80s. How they gonna make a Wolverine movie boring? Just saying, Fox made that magic happen. So, I don't know. I just hope they get it done right. I just want to see a badass Wolverine movie. I mean, that's all I want. It's just sad to me that Wolverine gets to be more like Wolverine in the fucking X-Men anime than in the movies where he's supposed to be the same character. I just don't see it. But anyways, fellas, that's just been my thoughts on it for a second time, because I had my previous commentary of this I recorded it with the mute button on, so I had to come back and do it again. But if you guys have anything to say down in the comments, let me know. My name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next commentary video. Peace out.